Hello, 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 everyone. Thank you very much for being here today. We are so happy to have an amazing, amazing professional who's going to help us with our businesses and grow them. And um, let me tell you a little bit about us. I'm offering something new now, which I haven't offered before. But as you know, the Nest Egg Builder empowers people to build their wealth consistently with passive commercial real estate. And what we are offering now is a mastermind group for families. So an individual family could connect with me, and we'll do a full year, a 12-month, or 12 times, whatever you choose, because we like to work how you like to work, on how to invest. So you can learn how to invest. You can get the spreadsheets on how to invest in your checklists and all of that. So if you're interested in learning more about how to invest, how to do your due diligence, all of that, we will teach you about that and IRAs and everything there is around investing and money. Not everything, but as much as we could squeeze in, and all the support teams that you need. So if you want to get a hold of us, just go to the Nest Egg Builder and there's a place where you could check in. We'll have all that worked out later on, but we just created it. We're working with two families, and like this is just so much for me. It's so much fun. For you, maybe different, but we just have a good time. Having a good time, laughing and sense of humor. And it's not like, oh, you got to do this. No, money can be fun. Trust me. So thank you for that. And I have this quote. As you know, I like to pick a quote based on what the person's speaking about and who that person is. So Christina Littrell-Williams. This is called Prosper. Got a little frog out here, gonna catch whatever the frog can with his tongue. And this is by Jerry Gillis. People who make money often make mistakes. That's why we have Christina here, and even have major setbacks. But they believe they will eventually prosper, and they see every setback as a lesson to be applied in their move towards success. Christina's going to talk to us about that today. And let me give you a little background on her. She's just this really amazing woman I've known for, 10 years or so, like that. I'll get it. No. Okay, so as an owner of Strategies for Small Businesses, which is SFSB, and VA A Go-Go, that was so cute, LLC, Christina Littrell-Williams has worked with entrepreneurs and small business owners for over 14 years, helping them establish their branding and develop marketing plans to grow their businesses. We are so excited that you're going to talk about that today, especially me, because we're growing. As well as offering private training, Christina is a strategist, admin specialist, blogger, podcaster, and public speaker. I bet she does more than that too. She's well respected and considered an invaluable resource for businesses seeking to expand. Strategies are only valuable as the plans they are aligned with, and through SFSB, Christina works with clients at the ground level, first to identify where they are presently and then where they want to direct the efforts as they grow. She focuses on a spectrum of offline and online strategies it's beginning with, I practice this too, beginning with laying the cornerstone of a business to building a supportive foundation that will sustain growth. Christina applies the knowledge and experience she's gained over the years while continuing to explore and keep up with the pace of technological advances in a changing world. Her teaching style is client-centered. Christina brings a lot to the table, and yes, she does, along with a joyful heart and integrity mindset. She supports the growth of several businesses on their path to success. I know this to be true because she works with my mastermind leader, and she has information where you can contact her. And I'm going to put that into chat so that you will contact her. Christina, you are just an amazing woman. I admire you all these years that we have known each other, and you've come on our show a few times. Just the difference you make for businesses. Congratulations and thank you. And take it away.
Thank you, Peggy. I appreciate it. And I always love having conversations with you. As soon as we both popped on, we're like chatting away, of course. And it's really interesting. So thank you for having me back again. And I just wanted to touch base with everybody. I know last time we talked about different ways to build your business and think outside of the box as far as having a small business and having a team. Right now, I want to talk to you about a few things that are really, really core because we're hitting the fourth quarter. And some people will say, you know, and I'm just going to start using some examples. Those of you seen me before, you know, I talk about Bob all the time and Lisa all the time or whatever, and those are my example people. But really, when I talk to people like a group that Peggy is tied to, where it's investors and things like that, they have this thing. Well, I don't have a business. I'm an investor. It's like, no, you do have a business. And or you sit back and go, oh, well, I do this and I dabble in that and I do this, but I have a job all day. Okay, but I'm an investor and I do this and I dabble in that. You do have businesses. You have more than one business. And you might have where you do different kinds of real estate investing, where your mind is over here because you're doing this type of investment, and that takes ABC steps. And then you have this kind of investment over here where maybe you're like you have properties that you're renting and things like that. Well, that takes different steps. Those are XYZ steps because your mentality is different from each one. Each one is a separate business.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm a huge promoter in having a business plan. And everybody freaks out going, oh my gosh, I've been to events where we've had to do business plans and they make you like think and it hurts my head and I don't have all the information and it's so many pages. And I've constructed one that I work with people on and it's one page. And I tell them, if you're going to work with me, or even if you're not going to work with me and you have those multiple little outlets of revenue coming in, there's a business plan for each one, because how you handle your XYZ business is different from your ABC business. You cannot put the same dreams and goals in it. So that I'm hoping that makes sense in how you want to look at it. And I think Peggy would agree with me that you want to make sure you're being able to track which one of these kinds of businesses you dabble in craft fairs. Let me just say that right now. Like you do things that are homeopathic and you do that, but you also do some investing. Well, those are going to be totally different goals. And so you want to make sure you have a business plan created for each one because you're going to market them different. You're going to follow up different. You're going to have a different voice. If you're renting properties and you're trying to find renters, your voice is going to be like this. But if you're an investment person and you're buying properties and you're flipping it to sell, your voice is going to be different. And it's hard for people to stop and go, oh, they are different. And so you want to try to note those differently. And I am happy to drop my one-page business plan in the chat if you guys want, and you guys can save it there. I don't want to make anybody have to opt in to get it. If you want to reach me, you can reach me. If you want to get on my mailing list and get my information, you can. But if you want me to put it in the chat, feel free. Why? You had recording issues. I'm having chat pop-up issues.
Oh,
hold on. Show chat. There we go. If you want me to put it up there, let me know and I'll drop it in there. And that way you guys have the resource. I can also give it to Peggy and you guys can get it from her as well. But it's simple and it walks you through goals. It'll ask you a little bit about goals. Don't get weighed down. Don't let it stress you out. That's where people will get tied down and they start going, well, or you might go, well, my goal is I want to make $1 million this year. Okay. We're in the last quarter. What's your goal for this quarter? I'm not going to say you won't make $1 million. You might. I have no idea what your specific business is or your investment or any of that. But just look at your goal for this quarter. Because at the end of this quarter, we're going to be starting a new year. And guess what? You're going to revisit that one-page business plan. And you're going to look at it. What's changed over the last 3 months? What worked? What didn't work? Did I hit my goal? Where do I need to change these? And then you'll start going in and look at it. I always try to say, set your goal a quarter at a time. Have an annual goal. You there? Have an annual goal set so you have that, and then break it into your quarters so that you can then arc and reach that annual goal. Because if you don't build your plan a quarter at a time, sometimes you'll lose your path where you get sucked into that bright, shiny object that just attracted you, and you're moving away from your ABC plan, and all of a sudden you went into an XYZ business and you didn't realize it, and now your ABC business is not bringing in the same money that's on your one-page business plan. So you have to keep an eye on it. And I find a lot of entrepreneurs, and Peggy, you let me know, that get sidetracked, and all of a sudden they're kind of off of what they originally went. I will not say that you're masterminded the sidetrack, because I do believe that was well thought. I think that you have a mission in place that's in alignment with what you do, and that's awesome. So it's adding to. And I do have one question about your mastermind though, with the families. What are the ages of the family members? Would you say that you're looking into, like, being working together?
The youngest could be somewhere between 3 and 4, and the oldest is any age. We're working with our family we're working with right now. Their youngest is in college, but they're 3 generations. So it's never too late to learn, ever. But the earlier you get them, the time value of money, they don't lose the time value of money because they can start earning right away because they get it. We teach them how to talk to their children about money.
I think it's important. I'm going to sidetrack here to reinforce what you're doing. My first husband and I, when we first bought our house, and I was 23 years old, and my daughter wasn't born yet, who actually will be 32 tomorrow. So no, I bought that house a long time ago. I lived in it for 23 years. But anyways, we had a meeting with a financial advisor at our house. And it was, one of those ones that's trying to get you into their group and stuff. And they showed us all these numbers. And if we would have put $160 away a month, where we would have been by the time we retired. Do you know, we did not find that $160 a month. And I don't have any. Oh, I do have a small investment. I do have my IRA, but it's like this big. And I'm sorry, but we were 23 years old, and I was working in animation. I was making good money. We could have found that. And the person helping us didn't help us figure out how that would be possible. Looking at our budget, they didn't stop and say, if you just cut back on Starbucks X amount of days a week, you have that. Can you, you know what I'm saying? Like that kind of. And so I appreciate people like you teaching, because like I said, we were 23 years old, and I this could definitely be a passion project, not a business, but it.
Yeah, well, if you get them young enough, they could be millionaires by the time they're 25 or 30.
Right. So make sure that I want to acknowledge you in what you're doing, because I do find that really important, because I did not listen. and stuff. So as business owners, don't miss out on the opportunity to look at your plans. Like I said, that person didn't help us find a plan. They didn't help us find that yellow brick road to the next place in our financial security. Your business plan, your one-page business plan can help you pave that yellow brick road to your goals. And it doesn't have to, like I was saying, they could have told us so many Starbucks a week and you would have that money. He could have helped us with a plan. He didn't. Your one-page business plan will take that into chunks that's achievable. So it's not as difficult, and it is, however you're generating revenue is a small business because it's income to you. And people don't give themselves enough credit for that. The other thing I'm doing that I told Peggy that I would share, because I created a link for her group, is I'm doing a 5-day business challenge. And really it walks through your one-page business plan and we break it down into 5 days. And if anybody knows me, this is the longest I talk. When I do my podcasts, 10, 15 minutes, I'm in, out. My Tech Tuesdays, I'm to the point. Here's what you need. Here's this. Got any questions? I'm here for you. On my 5-day business plan, it's the same thing. Each day runs about 15 minutes tops for the video replay or if you're live. And then you have homework. And the homework is really for you guys to stop and dissect what you need and look at it and make sure that you're on your yellow brick road. So, and I will put that in here.
Yeah, be sure to put that in the chat along with your one page.
Okay.
That would be really great. And the people here can download the chat and then they'll have it. And then the rest of the people, well, they should have been here.
Well, they'll get it in the replay.
That's right. They'll get it in the replay.
Okay, so that'll take you to the registration and then the one-page business plan I had out right here. It should let me share, right? It's not letting me drop it in here.
It's not?
Let me see if I have to save chat. File.
There's strategies for small businesses /Peggy. Isn't that it?
No, that's the opt-in page. I was trying to put the file in here for you.
I wonder why one would go and not the other. Well,
one was me typing, the other one is dropping an actual document in there.
Oh.
So it's just going to have me go right here. It's having me, to protect you, go into my Dropbox through here.
Wow, that's really strange.
Yeah, it's not. That's really weird. File. Okay. Save chat.
Well, send it to me and I'll send it. We'll send it out with the replay.
Yeah, it's I'm dragging it and trying to drop it in there and it's not letting me.
I'm sorry.
No, don't apologize. Sometimes it's in, especially with Zoom changing over from, they're getting a lot of security in there right now to protect the users. Like I used to never have a password or waiting room. They're requiring it now. So.
Okay. Yep. Ted,
try copy and paste instead of drag and drop.
Let me try that.
Good idea.
There should actually be a little icon down at the bottom. When you mouse over it, it says file.
Yes.
So you should be able to click on that and then probably browse over to the file.
No, it's making me go into Dropbox or Google Drive. I have to drop down. It's making me go into a platform. I did that. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
It is.
Let's see.
Yes, if you email me, I'll get it put on the replay email that we send out. So I know you work with a couple of people on their strategies for their business.
See if that'll let you guys.
You got it in. Yay. All
Yeah,
right.
it made me create a link.
So that's for your 5-day, right?
This link right here is the download to the business plan. The second link I put in that has the word Dropbox in it. And
Okay.
then the top one, that's strategiesforsmallbusinesses.com/Peggy. That's the 5-day.
Oh, that's the 5-day. Okay, great. Terrific. Okay, good. Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions about their business plan or the mentality, like what to look at?
So when you were talking about people think that they just have a hobby here and there, that kind of thing. And I think it's actually Patricia or someone who was looking at a property. I think it's an apartment complex that they wanted to buy, but the owner didn't separate all of his properties like in QuickBook. I don't know if he even has QuickBooks, but he has all of his properties combined so that you can't tell what the earning and expenses on one property are from another. So when you're talking about when you have a business and you're an investor, it is a business and you need to separate each property, and also should be separated on your taxes. Your schedule, whatever it is, A, B, C, D, E, I don't know. My accountant handles that, not me. So that they're on each separate, so that it shows as a business, because the expenses you have on each business gets written off on each business, not combined across 4 or 5 businesses. You can't do that. I'm actually surprised the guy hasn't been audited by the IRS. You can't, I'm just saying, how do you make an offer to somebody when they can't prove? So now, on top of he put all this together, he's now had to hire whoever it is that does his books to separate everything and put it separate. So now he has to pay that additional expense because he didn't separate it.
Mm-hmm.
So that
And the other thing that can happen when you have everything all lumped in like that is, somebody has a slip and fall or something on the property and they sue you. Everything is at risk.
Mm-hmm.
Your own personal home, your vehicles, all of the other buildings or properties that you own, you don't have them separated out. So it's just, this one instead of
Right.
all of these.
Right.
And you can lose track. I mean, if you have multiple, you lose one, and the one you lose track of could be actually the best one, if you will, like in any business with clients or network marketing or investments or any of that stuff, you want to know everyone because you want to know where your money's coming from.
Right. And they all need to be separate, because if you are also a lender, not just an investor, but somebody who lends money, you have payments that are due whenever they're due. And that has to be tracked separately. And then if you have depreciation that on each property, that's different on each property, especially if you've done a cost segregation. So how are you gonna treat that? How's your accountant gonna know what to do? And I can't imagine what the tax returns look like when people combine stuff like that. Telling you. Yep. So like that. So your 5-day is about making your plans. What's the 5-day? Tell me about the 5-day again.
In the 5-day business challenge, we go through, and each day has you focus on a specific part of your business as far as the structure or the marketing or the assets or the, and that way you're looking at each piece instead of going and looking at the whole. And it brings it down together so that you're like, oh, like I call it the have, need, do challenge. So we break it down into the haves. What do I have? Because like these properties, they lose track. You know, you don't know. What do you have? I have different type of shingle roofing or this, or I have 2 acres on this property. I have this. What are all the haves that you have? So in your business, what do you have? Do you have a business that needs a social presence? Do you have a business that could use a website? Do you have a business that has each thing? It goes kind of through and just kind of, like I say, memory joggers. Then the need, now that you have the have, because it's going to be different for all businesses. What I tell you is do not take my list and say, I have to have all of this. You don't. You don't. And if you have a question on do I need, ask. It won't be crazy because you don't, you know, you might have been talked into having an email list marketing system and you're buying properties and flipping them and selling them, but you're not looking for investors. You're not talking to anybody else. So why are you paying for that? You know, it's like, let's talk about what you have. So that's your have. Then the need goes to, okay, out of these haves, I'm missing this, or I don't need this, so I need to cancel that kind of idea, puts that into clarity for you. And then the do is what's the action steps now that we have and we know what you need. Now, what are you going to do? And then you wrap it up. And it's just it's 5 days for you to take half an hour, 45 minutes of your time to stop and have laser focus on your business or businesses so that you can just get organized and then move forward. And end of the year, the last quarter, I like to try to do this every quarter because it stops and reinforces your business, your one-page business plan. And it gives the entrepreneur the moments to stop and say, I'm going to focus on this for 45 minutes. And that's really what I'm here for, is to help with that clarity and that time.
And are you charging any fee for this?
No, the have, need, do is quarterly. I just work with everybody to do that.
Wow. Well, it's a complimentary 5-day. How could you say no to something like that? Come on, you guys, sign up, sign up, sign up. I mean,
And the one thing people will say, I can't make it live, you get access to the replay. And
you signed up.
Yes, you'll get access to those replays so that you can do it on your time. I will just encourage you to not procrastinate.
Okay. Let me see. Let's make sure that they work properly. Because I pulled something up and it went to something weird. So I wanted to double check and make sure that it's correct. Sujan, that's not right, is it?
Which link did you use? Because there's so many.
I'm using the strategy for smallbusiness.com/Peggy. And when I click on it, it opens up something called SUJAN.
Oh, it split the link up.
I'm sorry?
It split the link up because I tested that link before we went live.
How does it split it? Should I take the Peggy off?
No. Copy it.
Yeah. Huh. This is weird. Technology. Don't we love it? Isn't this fun?
I'm telling you. Oh, and it's catching so many different things. You guys, I'm so sorry because I do tech all day.
You're right.
I've been doing oh, no.
Nope, it still brings up the same.
Yeah.
Is that doing it
Don't
for
use
you?
that link because that is weird.
Okay, we'll have to delete that link. Oh, Jabila. I wonder if I can delete that link. Okay, you guys, Isn't this an interesting, different than every other meeting we have?
There you
We're
go.
working technology with a group that knows how to work technology.
Try that one, Peggy, the one I just put in.
Okay. Yep, that's it. That works. So this one works and the other one doesn't, and I don't know how to delete the first
I
one. Put in. Nope, that's reply.
got it.
Okay, thank you. All right. So that was really terrific. Does anybody have any questions or want to know anything? Hi, Jamilis. Nice to see you. Jay, we're always happy you're here. David, Ethan, Maria. Have you, any of you done this course before? Or courses like it? Because I think that it's really important. Even if you've been in business for years, you still need to have that reminder. We think we know it, or we get in the habit of, I've been in this business for 40 years, so I feel like I know what I'm doing. And then I do something like this and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot I'm not doing that anymore. I got to get that back in place. So there's just all kinds of things that make it necessary for reminders. Because I mean, how much can your brain hold? It can hold a lot, but it's a filing cabinet. So it's filed in there somewhere. You do a short course like this, and you're like, oh, let me pull that out of that filing cabinet. And it all comes back to you. So like that.
Yeah.
Does
And
anyone have
Ted,
any? Yeah.
I was gonna say, Ted, your comment about sloppy record keeping, it is scary, because if you pierce that corporate veil and then you end up having to go back trying to fix it, it's a lot harder, with the IRS and all of that stuff. So you're right. You're right.
Yeah. So who gets there first? The IRS gets there, and then you try to figure it out. That's a tough one.
It
A lot
could
of
be the
people say
IRS.
they don't have time to do things right the first time. But
Oh,
if you
yeah.
don't have time to do things right the first time, how are you ever going to figure out the time to do it over?
Which takes 3 or 4 times as much time.
In
Right.
the old days when I was doing computer programming, the line was if it takes 1 hour to do it right, it takes 100 hours to fix it.
Wow. Not just 3 or 4 times. That's 100 times.
Oh yeah.
It's
Yeah.
true. The first time I got audited and I was a real estate agent, I can't remember, it's been so long ago, but I wasn't tracking my mileage properly and I had to go back and recreate it. Are
Oh my
you kidding? I had to go back, I don't know how many years to recreate that. Do you know how difficult that is? You have to go find your calendar. You have to go dig through all your files to find your calendar. If you were smart enough to even have a calendar where you tracked anything. I had all the mileage written down. I just didn't have it with who I was meeting, right? So I had to go back through my whole calendar for the entire year to write down the person I was meeting and what we discussed. Oh my God. Guess what? I keep one in my car all the time. And every time I go out, I write down where I'm going before I leave. Like, oh God, still, because you never know. The IRS comes in on things you're like, who cares? They do, because they're looking for money. They're like, oh, we could get a lot of money out of this one. So, yeah.
Well,
So,
and they look at your business and they say, oh, they're sloppy here. Where else are they being sloppy?
yeah, exactly. Yep.
One of the things I tell people is, if you're using something like Google or a calendar that you can share, right? You can create an extra calendar and you share that with your tax person or your assistant or something. Meetings go on there too, right? And you don't have it block your other calendar. But when you do your mileage for that meeting, you just go ahead and I do mileage : what it is. And then when you do a search on that calendar, it runs you a report of everything you entered as mileage.
And where's that?
Just in your whatever calendar system you use, check to see. So a lot of people have Gmail, so they have a Google Calendar, and it's easy to access like that. And you can go through, check, you know, people check your iCals. It's hard to share an iCal if you're on Apple, because not everybody can check it. But if you also use a Google Calendar, it's integrated, you can do that there. But it's nice to have that ability, because I also do neat receipts. And I had my tax accountant, I got audited several years ago, and he walked in with my neat receipt account login at the audit, and the guy goes, "Where's the receipt for this?" He went like this. He goes, "Right here." "Where is the receipt for this?" He's like, "Who spends $10,000 a year in online programs?" And he goes, "My client. Here's all of the reports. Here's everything under that category, and here's all of her receipts." He was in there for 10 minutes and it was done. So being organized, Ted, it was great, you know, and like I said, my accountant, he used to work for the IRS, so he kind of knew the ins and outs too. But I was already using that system, and he's like, "Just give me your login."
Wow, that's great. No, I use a paper calendar. I just keep it in and write it down and tear it off. Then I copy it, you know, I scan it with all my other receipts. So if anything does come up, I could look it up. But what's that called? Neat?
It was neat receipts, and now it's NEAT, just neat. And now you could take pictures and do your receipts right in it. But also QuickBooks, if you guys are using QuickBooks, there's a way to automatically add your receipts into QuickBooks and match them with what's that item that they're recorded from the bank and stuff. So talk to your tax person about, or your person who's working on your QuickBooks, because they can attach the receipt right in there as well.
Okay, it's a separate,
It's part of QuickBooks.
It's a part of QuickBooks. Oh, so I just need to let the receipt, I could write on the receipt, because I copy for QuickBooks. So I could write right on the receipt, the mileage.
Yeah, I mean, if you wanted to write on your gas receipt, but you have to have it for mileage and stuff, you need to have it related to that trip. So that you're going to have to get advice from your person who runs your QuickBooks. But just as far as saving receipts, meal receipts, or your website domains and all of that stuff that you have going, when it comes up as an entry in QuickBooks, they can actually scan your receipt and put it right in there too. So it's all with your transactions.
Yeah, I scan all my receipts. It's his job to go find the right place to put them.
Right?
I write on the top what it is, groceries. I mean, it's obvious if it's Sprouts or Ralph's, but not necessarily if you don't live here, but he does. So he would know that's groceries, right? But if you're doing different medications or you're doing different supplements and your doctor has prescribed it, then you need to say this is prescription, not just supplements, so that it goes into the right category. Yeah, all of that. Yeah, taxes. If they change it to that 10%, whatever they talked about years ago, all that would stop. Think of all the people that would get unemployed with the IRS.
Oh.
No, they just redeploy them somewhere else.
Maybe. Who knows? Well, are there any other questions?
If we went to all electronic, let's say transactions, imagine the number of illegitimate enterprises that would be put out of business.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
People would still find a way to be.
One of the amusing observations I made a number of years ago is IRS cracked down on organized crime. And the businesses that got hurt worst were the ones that were selling luxury goods like jewelry and boats and $1 million houses, because the organized crime folks and the people in that general category didn't really care how much they spent for stuff, so they bought expensive stuff. And so
Hmm.
the people who were selling the luxury goods were the ones that were hurt the most.
Even though they weren't illegal in any way.
They weren't, but the money they took was not
Right.
from legitimate sources.
Right,
They
they
were,
were
the
cleaning
luxury
money.
goods sellers were by and large money launderers.
Sure. Yeah, no, I was in a foreign country and they were talking about how they were not building, the buildings are not well built. They're very high rise and they are bought by people that are cleaning their money. So they buy these apartments that are, 800 units, high rise 800 unit apartments, and they sell them one by one. That's how they clean their money. It's not in this country, it's in other countries where you could get away with that. So it goes on all the time, I'm sure. So
I think we can all agree, no matter what, the bad guy is always going to find the way to do what they want to do. They take advantage of all the loopholes, all the things that we don't even know about, like I got a divorce. I went back to college to finish my college degree, and I'm into starting the second year. And somebody goes, "Why didn't you apply for any grants? You're like a single mom with 2 kids, and you went back to college, and you're a woman." And I'm like, they have things like that? Like, I had no clue. But then you have people who totally lie and get all this money. I mean, I gave them back a check for $300 for living expenses, and I said, "Well, I have a job. I don't need this." And they wouldn't take it back. I literally just never cashed the check, so it stayed in the funds. But other people will just, if that they don't need it, they still get it. And I was like, so I've just have come to realize I need to be the best I can be and surround myself with those people and know that bad guys will always find a way to do what they do.
So true. Well, how would you know who's good if you don't know who's bad? And it's still opinion, right? So
This is true.
like that.
Very true, though.
I,
You wouldn't
I
have
always
to
get you,
do that.
Patricia. I always get you laughing.
One of the fun questions I have rhetorically is, what's the difference between an auditor and a thief?
Well, it depends on what they're auditing or how they're auditing or the reason they're
Right.
auditing.
Well,
Or
the
is-
answer I suggest is ethics.
That's the
You want
difference.
the auditor to be, you want the auditor to understand how the thievery performance or performances work, just to have enough ethics not to do it themselves.
And
How
be
do you
able
catch, how do you
and-
catch a thief if you don't know how it works?
That's right.
Right?
Let's see that part like that. Well, does anyone have any questions or comments for our wonderful Ms. Littrell-Williams? Otherwise, we're going to finish up the day and we hope you'll come back again. I want to do that 5 days so I can learn a lot about that. The dates are right there, right? So I'll be good with
I
that.
do.
Oh, good.
So a while back, Christina was on, I think,
Yes, ma'am. I remember
and
you.
we talked, and I downloaded the things and I looked at them and I was like, oh,
Sorry, that
and
was the St. Bernard.
yeah, and so then I came back quite a bit later and I downloaded I think it's a score template for a business plan, and I started on it. And then my partner and I pivoted and went to a slightly different project. And so then I took that one. I mean, I left it like it was, but I copied it and started going into it more. And I added a bunch to it there. And then we pivoted again, and I've added a bunch more too. So really it's an iterative process you go through. I mean, and I'm just going through the score one. you go through and it's just a brain dump. You know, what am I doing? What could I do? What could we do? What are some ideas? You know, and you just dump everything out. And then when you pivot, you pick it up and you're like, oh, well, this part works and this part works and this part works. And that part doesn't because it was that other place. And it's an iterative process.
It is definitely, especially for entrepreneurs, the business plan process is never ending, right? And that's why, and the score is great. But like you said, it's like this brain dump, and then what can I do? And what can I try to slow you down, focus on this part, because then that's where the next, now what's our next plan? But where's your foundation? Don't mix in what we can do, what we can build. Where are you at right now, and where do you want to go just income wise? Then once
and that piece I don't have. I don't have a good, this is what we're doing, this quarter, and this is what we're doing this quarter and this quarter.
That's why you stop and you say, here's my business, here's my goals, and it asks you in this business plan about 90-day whatever, and takes you through, and you get that one thing. And it's not, don't fill yourself with all of the, oh, right, I could do this. Stop and say, here, just clean and clear. And that way, now you go and go, okay, in the first 90 days, I want to hit $20,000. Okay, so $20,000, I need to have at least so much, let's say $7,000 a month out of the, or less than that actually, but you get your focus.
Whatever, right?
Then you're like, okay, so in that I need to do what? Because I'm selling, like for me, I'm selling a product that's $400. So if I need to make $4,000 that month, I need to sell, 100 of them. How am I going to sell 100 of them to make that? Like, you start then dissecting it, but get just a simple foundation, because you start overwhelming and then there's no action taken.
Yeah. Or you have a 120-page document, and what do you do with it?
It ends up being a book. It ends up being a weight on your desk. Literally, You don't want to. That's why I try to streamline everything and keep everybody focused, because I am ADHD. Like, I had a client called and he's like this, and I'm already going, oh, interactive video. Well, we could do this. And so while we're talking, we could put a button, and and he's like, back. And I'm like, okay, well, you can't scroll. I can scroll on your behalf, so, like that kind of stuff. But, stay in your business, stay right here in this lane, put that down, and then you start building out. And I promise you won't get overwhelmed. You won't get overwhelmed as bad, and you will start taking action.
Yep. So I
It's
expect to
probably
see you there.
amusing to think about how many people that we generally would classify as smart are probably either ADHD or obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD.
Mm-hmm. I fall into those two categories very bad. B12 is great, but I don't, I can manage it, and one of my grandsons autistic, and it's like, no. But as soon as you get him focused, he's like, great. So really, it comes down to just taking and getting that 45 minutes, getting that time that you can just do that, turn everything else off.
You
have dates for this?
Yes, they're the 2nd through the 2nd. It's actually next Monday through Friday.
So September. You're starting on Labor Day?
I am, and I know that most people, the beginning is the introduction and goes through. So I thought, you know what, that's easy for people to just catch up. That's like a 10-minute replay if somebody can't be there. And then day 2, we jump in, but at least day 1, you'll end up with a homework download.
And what time is it going to be?
I do them at I want to say it's noon Pacific.
Okay. Because I didn't see it on the sheet, so I'm putting it in the, this is,
Yeah, your page didn't get dates and times. I will have that updated. But yes, when you register, you'll get the emails, you'll get all the information that's going there. Yep.
I don't
Second,
see I don't see a registration on here either.
yeah, there's a form at the top, and there's a form in the middle, and there's a form at the bottom.
It doesn't open.
This is the 5-day have need do business check-in.
Correct.
Strategies for small business.
Yeah.
Businesses.
Businesses, yeah, but there's no, maybe it's just because I'm on. I don't
You
see
can
any
see it,
place
right,
to.
Patricia?
I'm
Did
sorry?
you, does yours have a place to sign up?
Yeah, I just signed in. I went down to the bottom. There's a form there. You just
Yeah,
fill
there's
in.
3 on that page.
Yeah,
Yeah, not on mine.
might be your browser. Might be that you're on Zoom. Might
It's
be
true.
yay
No,
technology.
I'm on my Chrome.
I don't know. I got opted in.
I don't know. There's no place for me to opt in. So what can I say? I'll just keep trying till I actually get it.
I can send it to Dawn too.
Okay, maybe I'm using the wrong link. Here's a LinkedIn. Oh no, that's Ethan. Okay, I'll just keep trying till I get it. So thank you very
Do you
much.
want me to register you, Peggy? I can do it in the back end.
If you'd like, but then you need to send me something so I know,
Mm-hmm.
okay, where to go.
Yep.
Because I know if I ever have a one-on-one with Christina, she will definitely tell me where to go. So I so appreciate you it's very casual today. I had a lot of fun with you, and even though you in particular are just this great technological person and seeing the challenges, it's like it's not just me. It just makes me feel so much better when I see somebody else having a bit of challenge here or there, because I say, well, it's me. I know it's me because I don't pay enough attention or I haven't learned enough. So thank you for this. It's really been fun. I've really enjoyed today's meeting with you, and I hope all of you have also, and we expect to see you back again. We'll follow up on that 5-day. That'll be
Yep.
fun, huh? All those things that all of you didn't sign up for missed. And if if you can't find the link and make it work, just get a hold of Christina and she'll sign you up through the back door.
Yep. And I think it was Jay Miller said that they have an event those dates. There is a replay. So if you register, you'll get access to the
Right.
back end, and you keep access. So it's not like, oh, you have to be there and at the end of the 5 days, I'm removing it. You keep the access.
Yep. So there's no excuse not to sign up.
Oh,
Really? I mean, there's so much information out there, and that we are information overload. But when somebody tells you they're going to take 10 minutes of your time for 5 days in a row with a few things to apply, where you actually get to learn something, teach your kids something, how could you say no? So thank you very much for being here, Christina. We will see you next time. You all have a really great week, and we will be here on Tuesday, right after Labor Day.
yes, you got it. And it was great being here. Thank you, you guys.